Money on my mind, gotta hustle and grind. Financial literacy always on my mind. I'm stacking knowledge, no time to waste. Gotta invest smart, gotta keep up the pace. I'm reading books, learning all the tricks, studying the market, making calculated picks. I'm saving up my dough, watching it grow. No more wasting money on things I don't really know. Financial smarts, that's my new swag. Investing wisely, no more burning cash, I'm building wealth. $1 at a time, going from broke to living the life that's prime.
What is good, people? It's your boy Reckless Radenero, and we are back at it again with another episode of Future Financial Strategies. Got to give a shout out to Delta Investment Tracker app. If you do not have it, it is not only for crypto anymore, it is good for your traditional portfolios as well. It tracks your stocks, movers and shakers out there, the traders out there. You got to have some sort of metric. A lot of people don't have metrics on anything that they're doing, and it's crazy to me. I just don't understand. So if you're not tracking and you're just talking about the stuff that you're doing and you don't have a win-loss, you don't know where you're sitting at for the year, I really don't like having those conversations with people who are just out here willy-nilly that can tell me about their one good trade or their one good thing that they did. So I use Delta Investment Tracker app. It's a good one. It covers everything. You can get your crypto in there. You can both do manual or have it automatically track your stuff for you. Super useful. Just saying, track your stuff so that you can have the conversation intelligently, because these gurus out here ain't built to have the conversation with me because I talk math and they don't like it. Today, we are having a conversation about how much is really needed to leave the workforce. And the reason I have this because I hear these conversations and I know a lot of the gurus out there. You got, I ain't even gonna name names. It's just the usual suspects, the wolf pack, the not wolf pack, I should say. I call them the cat pack. I don't know, the kitten pack. I have cats. Never mind. I'm not gonna disrespect felines like that. The puppy pack. Love to get online because they're of course selling you things, so they got to get stuff that's out of your reach that's not actually applicable right now. And they like to tell you it's about, oh, you got to get to the bag. You got to get six figures. Everybody on these panels is a millionaire or making six figures. They're not even millionaires. They're just making six figures, which is also crazy to me. I'm like, how are you making six figures? Actually, I do know how it happens. It's called financial literacy. You're not financially literate. That's how you make six figures, and you're not able to be a millionaire in net worth. Like, you're not worth anything. You live in paycheck to paycheck at six figures, which is apparently a thing now. And then they tell you what you can't do with under six figures. Even the old reckless Radenero's out here making under six figures, not even close. Actually, I wouldn't say not. Well, I'm like quarter of the way there. I'm over halfway there, but making under six figures. I own a house. My car's paid off. I'm getting ready to get a new car. But car's paid off. Just went through 3 tumultuous months with a major catastrophic injury. Had a severed Achilles. Had to have surgery. Was out for a month. All the stuff that they say, oh, the middle class, it's dead. You can't get ahead. Nobody can get ahead. It's doom and gloom unless you're making six figures. And somehow I navigated these waters splendidly. Coming through on the other side, came to the realization that I will be able to be out of the workforce within 3 years on the current trajectory, provided I don't have any other major surgeries. Like, I'm going to knock on some wood on that. But just doing the math and with the portfolio that I've set up, and that's not with crypto factored in. That's just the traditional financial portfolio that we're building out. We do an update on it the first Monday of every month. If you're not tapping in for those portfolio updates, you need to go check out those portfolio updates, because that portfolio is smaller than the crypto portfolio. The crypto portfolio is out of reach for most of y'all at this point. Once you get over six figures into a market, that's out of reach for a lot of people. Most people don't have $400 in the bank right now. Y'all broke. But I'm doing something that is trackable, making movable, We're tracking the income. I've got a dedicated income portfolio. And I'm talking actual income, people. I'm talking income. Like, we're talking about replacing your income, because that's the first step in leaving the workforce. How are you going to pay for what you're paying for right now? Yeah, we got to talk about it. So I wanted to do an episode on this because apparently because like, I guess I count as a brokey. I'm a statistical anomaly according to all the gurus on these YouTube streets. You can't do anything if you make under 6 figures, and apparently I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff, and it's cool. It's cool. So I would say that I'm on the way to getting into the 6-figure realm, but it's not because of my job. That's the other thing. Like, I'm a salaried employee. I'm half blue collar, half IT. So it's all the people that you say don't make money. Granted, if you're blue collar and in IT, that field, you have the ability to make money if you're just leveraging and just chasing the bag. Me personally, I get a little bit of a different perk. I segued myself into an ownership position in the company that I work at. So my pay is pretty much fixed at this point. I get compensated in other ways, but that's a long tail because we haven't seen any of the benefits from that. We made an investment and we're waiting for the fruit, that seed, to grow, and then some money might start. Actually, some money should start flowing in. But as it sits right now, I am living and existing off of my salary, which is under 6 figures. It's not, it's under, I make under, okay, so that's not accurate right now. Okay, so anymore, I make under $80,000. And next year that's going to change, because the way that I have my stuff set up, this income portfolio, provided it performs the way that I need it to, will be replacing my income and then some, because the way that I'm factoring it out is, the first thing you got to do though is, and we got to break this down, is how much money do you need? Because we see all these millionaires that are working hard. You know what? I'm going to name some names. We see Richard Fain out here working hard. That dude was on live, got mad at all the comments and stuff because he doesn't know what he's talking about crypto, because he's consistently wrong, consistently sounding like a crazy old dude. And he out here working hard, talking about we got to get to the good life and the rainbow, and it's us versus them, when he's also supposedly a millionaire and got a bunch of money and stuff. Fine. But he's working hard still. So like, if you're not done working, right? So, okay. And I understand the sentiment, because I have the same sentiment. You got Anton Daniels out here. Dude's grinding. He got a dope channel. It's very entertaining. Talking about how he's richer than everybody else. Giving hot takes and opinions, and he's always online because he lives here, working hard. It's hard to be a content creator. That is work. Dude's online multiple times a day, always got a camera in his face, walking around looking crazy outside. Work. And I get it, because I have the same sentiment. I don't think I'll ever be able to stop working. What I want to stop doing is having to work. Now, in Anton Daniels' case, he gives receipts on his stuff, so we know he doesn't have to work. That man's got a lot of money put away. He's showing his W-2. Shout out to the bag chasers. He's given all the information on the back end. He has receipts, so he doesn't have to do it. But I'm just saying, like, if you a multimillionaire, you trying to build an empire, now he wants to be a pundit on CNN and probably run for politics and be a Republican. And, you know, we're going to be doing a live stream about my gripes about Black Republicans, because as a registered now Black Republican who still has some wits about him, that still gets to go to backdoor meetings, still gets to have honest conversations with the politicians in my local area, because I understand that one of his gripes is nobody knows who their local alderman is, or they're not talking to their local, and I do that stuff. But, you know, I got some gripes. I got some gripes with Republicans, period. But like, especially the Black ones. But like, I still rock with them. I still agree with them. We still vote. We still got the same values, more or less. I just feel like there's some conversations that are had disingenuously. And they are. They literally are. But that's not what this is about. This is about the financial piece. And one of the things that because like all of these guys are selling stuff. Like, they're all selling things. They all got like a private group where they're going to give you the game. And I started building out this portfolio, and I was like, these dudes are talking about taking for literally ever to get anywhere, to get any headway. And I was like, as soon as I got injured, I had a lot of time to dive into this because I'm very meticulous with my crypto. The traditional financial stuff has just now started to pique my interest because I like income generation. And there are tools now that were not around when I originally started my investment journey and originally was in traditional finance that are now here that allow you to make money, monthly income, weekly income, and good income, not like I see these gurus out here that have these portfolios that are six figures that are making less than I'm making with my $16,000 portfolio that I scraped together. It's wild to me. Talking about being a dividend investor, like you're investing for income. Like, no, you're not. You're investing for capital appreciation. It's not about the income, because if it was about the income, you wouldn't definitely. That's the least efficient way to get income ever if you're actually focusing on getting income. Now, I understand the way that those investors work. They're looking at the total value of and the appreciation of the underlying asset. But if you're investing for income, I am buying the income. I'll do with what I need to. If I need some stuff that goes up in value, I have a portfolio for that. That's a separate portfolio. That's a long-term hold portfolio. The income portfolio is about getting income. But as I was thinking this through, I was like, well, you gotta ascertain within your situation. And I have a couple of ways that I do this because finance is an N of one scenario. The way that I do my investments is what most people would consider highly risky. Me coming from crypto, I don't think any of this is risky. Like, this is nothing in compared to like where my wealth is at with crypto. It's $16,000. Would I be okay losing it? Yes. Would I like it? Absolutely not. Have I lost more in one fell swoop? Yes, I've lost probably like 6 times that over the course of a week on a bad crypto play. And that year I still made money. So, you have your expertise. Cool. And I'm putting my feet in the water and like I am documenting it. We are tracking it. I showed the receipts. I actually showed the entire portfolio. Unlike some of your favorite gurus, like I show the entire portfolio and we can see how it's moving. And then we get to look at the metrics on it and see what's going on. Since I'm salary and it's kind of locked into what it is, which I know I could go negotiate, go ask, threaten to leave, get the 3-year itch. I've been at this place for 11 years, by the by. But I don't like doing that. Like, if I got to go argue and debate with you about what we're doing with my money, I can just go make that money. I'm a hunter. I can go hunt. I'm capable of hunting. So I've been trying to, my goal is to give myself around a $10,000 raise every single year in perpetuity. The first thing we got to understand, though, is what does that mean for you? You have to break down your expenses. And so what I have, like my living expenses of what I want to do, which is basically everything I want to do right now that I want to do. Like I'm putting in a consistent allocation for either car repair or car replacement. We're doing that. I've got reinvestment factored into it because, like I said, I don't think I'll ever not be working, but I'm really thinking that I'm moving into a space where I'm going to be doing what some of my heroes growing up, Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett, are doing, managing a portfolio. Like I want to go buy stuff and, build out a portfolio. I don't necessarily, well, obviously I can't do it at that level, but like, as far as managing my own portfolio, like that does take work. Like I do actively manage those positions. Granted, during September, all I'm doing is buying and replenishing and filling the coffers because September is a bloody month. It's been bloody. It hasn't been the best. We've seen some terrible stuff go down, both crypto and traditional finance. And since my portfolio is narrative based, when crypto goes down, so does my portfolio. But as we get into after we get through phase 1, which we've still got a lot of money to go in there. But as we get through the positions, it'll balance itself out because not every single phase is only the first initial phase is going to have cryptocurrency tied to it. And that is mainly because going into the Bitcoin bull run, I know that there's going to be some really good really good potential on that narrative. So that is where we're starting. That's what we're going for. We're buying through the dips, and it is what it is. But factoring out the way that I do my expenses, I have my living expenses, which is like cutting to the quick. Like if I needed a mental health break for a few months and I just didn't want to go to work. I didn't want to have to go to work. I didn't want to mess with it. I didn't want to do anything. Cutting it to the quick is like your core expenses. That's level 1, is core expenses. And once you get to core expenses, I think I don't think. Technically at that point, if you can cover the core expenses, and for me, my core expenses include investments. So it's basically mortgage/rent, automotive, car payment, phone bill, you got to keep the phone on, and utilities, which includes internet, because you got to have the internet because you just do. I count that as a necessity for me. So in my core expenses, that's everything to keep your house running and the roof on, your car, internet, or your car, phone, and car payment, plus the ability to reinvest into the portfolio every month. So like you have an allocation where this is how much I'm reinvesting every month, and like this is how we're rocking out, and this is what we're looking to do. So, and then you have your comfort, which is basically everything that I want to do now. You got your budget for travel expenses. You got your Xbox Live. Actually, I keep Netflix as a bare minimum so that if I want to watch something, if I want to browse, it's stupid, but I do it because I have like about 1 hour when I get home while I'm having dinner where I decompress and I'll throw something on before I get up here and record or do whatever I got to do with the second part of my day, which is usually portfolio manage, strategize, record content, edit content. Well, not even edit, just record content and do thumbnails. Do any reach out that I need to do, any touch and base with people, any of that stuff. And then I go to bed, get up, start working on and in my business, and rinse and repeat. But having the comfort expenses, that's everything that I could want to do. Like, what's it cost me to comfortably exist in the United States of America with the stuff that I have? Now, could I go get another property and do that and have more space and not house hack and do those things to flex online and make people impressed? Absolutely. Definitely could. At this juncture, definitely don't need to, because we're getting ready to make some moves after they start lowering these interest rates. We're getting ready to start levering up. They're about to start making money cheap again. We're about to start utilizing it with some of these strategies. And once this debt is cleared, then we're going to start looking at some of those other options. But it's important to have those numbers so you know what ballparks you're in. So for me, and I don't believe that you have to be a millionaire. Being a millionaire is a score on a board. You don't have to be a millionaire to not have to go to work. And that's one of the things that they trick us into, because putting that carrot that's far out there for you. And this is as somebody who I know my net worth is going to be within $1 million, in the $1 million range. So like I'm fully expecting within the next, so we got this bull run, next bull run. Within the next 6 years, at minimum, if I do nothing else but hold on to the crypto that I have now, I'll be a millionaire when it factors in all my stuff, because my house property value is going to continue to go up. Bitcoin's got this bull run, and then that'll account for the next bull run. I'll get us into that. And then my crypto holdings. So then I'm going to be a millionaire. And like, then what? It's like you have to start eating your assets to like not go to work. That's crazy to me. So what I came up with, I started doing the high income dividend investing, and we do the updates on that portfolio so that I don't have to spend my crypto, because I want that to go up indefinitely. Like I want that to be the overarching foundation for my wealth moving forward, because there's no property that I'm going to buy out of this country, which I am looking at also having some spaces abroad that are similar setups to what I have here, so I can bounce around. There's nothing that I'm going to buy that's going to outperform Bitcoin, period. It's the best investment. The reason I'm so focused on this portfolio, though, is this will allow me to go do whatever the heck I want to do. So for me, I did the numbers. So my cut to the quick is around $2,000, because like that'll give me, it's actually $1,500 for core expenses, but I want to be able to invest at least $500 a month. At least, like, that's my cut to the bricks. Like if I just stopped and did nothing, I want to invest in it. I want to have $500 roundabouts, because $500 roundabout going back into the portfolio every month. And that's with me having to pay for everything at this house myself. Of course, I'm house hacking, but like, what if both my roommates get run over by a bus? What if something happens? What if they both move? Oh, now it's on you, and like, you can't afford to do that. Like, no, I can, because I plan worst case every time. And that's one of the things that I tell people: don't cheat this. Don't cheat your expenses. Like, if you're not paying full bore on your rent and you start making a plan to get out of the workforce early, be able to go do whatever you want to do, it allows you to be able to take a lower paying job where you're not getting to the bag, and do what you want to do. Start focusing on your dreams. All the bills are paid. You're still got some money to invest. Like, the two things I tell people is always put reinvestment into your budget. The second thing that you should be doing is always do the worst case scenario. If it's you and a spouse and y'all splitting 50-50, assume that other person, your girl or your dude, assume they're going to be gone. Because the last thing that you want is to get to these numbers and you've undershot the numbers, and then you go, oh, well, I'm going to just F this job, I'm out. And then stuff starts falling apart on your end, and now you can't afford these utilities, and now you got to go right back. Like, there ain't nothing worse than walking out with some authority and then having to come back in with your tail between your legs. Deal in permanence. And for me, dealing in permanence is always worst case scenario expenses. So at the current juncture with the current property that I got, the core cut into the quick, $1,500, 2,000 roundabouts, because we can explain that here in a second, but $2,000 will give me my investment money. Then we Gucci all around. That's all I need. Now for the comfort, the comfort piece of this, I would honestly, because like, I'm pretty comfortable on my salary right now. Like, I understand, single guy, no kids, no drama. I don't know nobody, nothing. What I'm making right now from my paycheck, it's pretty much enough to do everything that I want. Like, when I'm ready to switch cars, I'm ready to switch cars. Like, I can start car shopping. I like setting aside healthy down payments, because as we know, I'm a leveraged person. I do not, y'all can go pay cash for cars. I think it's stupid. It just me personally. And the only reason is I make more than the percentage of the loan. And I have a system set up so that those loans are paid back within 24 months normally anyway. So like, I'll get a 36-month loan, is getting paid back a year and a half early. That's just the way that I roll. It's because for me, that money in the market makes more money. It's not so I can go buy more stuff. It's literally because all my money, all my excess money goes into investments. And so it's going into investments, and especially right now, it's going into income producing investments. So I'd rather get the pay and then go, cool, since I'm just building this portfolio out and managing the debt anyways, I can use that once the debt's paid off to just pay for the car, because I haven't stopped work. I haven't left the workforce yet, because I haven't hit the numbers. Now, my comfort number is around $5,000 to $5,500. That's all I need. The city that I live in. Now, I'm not trying to go live somewhere that's super expensive. I'm not trying to live in LA. Like, obviously, these numbers are specific to where you are. But me personally, Kansas City boy, it's not expensive to live here unless you're trying to live in a luxury apartment, or you don't own your home. Those are the only 2 times when it's super expensive to live here, unless you're buying a house right now, because like the interest rates, it's just more expensive than what I paid. In comparison to the rest of the nation, we are not the most expensive place to live. It's very manageable. You can live here and make under 6 figures and be comfortable. I know that people say, like, I read the newspaper the other day and it was like, you can't do that. And I'm like, I'm literally live here my whole life. I'm doing it. Like, what are the people who are on these metrics? Like, what are you factoring in them doing? Like, I just don't know. Cause like I go out, we go to events, we go to all the little festivals that come through, like go to baseball games, go to football games. Like there's nothing that I can't do in this city that I want to do. Unless you're considering going out every night and getting VIP bottle service. Like I can't do that, nor do I want to. Again, though, these numbers would change because if you do want to do that, that needs to be factored in. So I'm not hating on it. I'm just saying it's just funny to me the way that these people online and just society in general, because they want you to be a consuming slave. They want you going to work. They want you paying into the system. They want you to be a part of the system. And the issue is they want you doing it in the fashion that's the least rewarded, because as an investor, my dividend income is taxed lower than my W-2 income is. So they're benefiting me for being an investor. I'd rather do that. You pay less in taxes. You guys go ahead and just keep complaining about everybody paying their fair share when the working class pays the most fair share. And they grind you, and they're telling you to not go to sleep and get side hustles and do 18 jobs just to exist. Like, I mean, invest some of that money so that you can start digging your way out of that hole. Like, that's the only logical thing that I could think of. So, looking at what I need to exist comes the next level of what do I want to do? How do I want that existence to be? Well, first of all, I don't want to be in the United States year round. I don't. I hate it. It's not. The society that we've created is just not manageable for me. I don't like living in a society where everything that you eat and consume is poisoning you. Like, I like to spend some time out of the country so that I can eat like fresh foods that's not poison and go experience things, be in water that's clean, that's not poison, where they don't have bacteria that gets in your ear and eats your brain. That's a thing that they have in the Midwest. By the by, there's like stagnant bodies of water. People go swimming in them, and a bacteria eats their brains and they die. Like, I don't want to be here for that. Most of it, like, I don't like it. So that's part of it. But the other bonus of the way that I'm looking at doing this, and this isn't on some passport bro stuff, but I do want to be out of the country for, I'd say, anywhere from 2 to 4 months out of the year. I don't want to. I'd say, okay, 2 to 5. Let's say 2 to 5. I don't want to be out of the country for half the year, because then you got to figure out the rules for where you're going, and you're bouncing a lot. Like, I don't know that I want to do that. But like, I want to experience some other cultures. I want to be able to get fresh food. I want to go kayak in clean water. I want to go swim in good oceans and enjoy my existence. Like, that's kind of the stuff that I want to do. The added benefit to that is most of the places that I want to go are less than my cut to the quick cost for here. So my expenses here, obviously, I'll still have them. But going somewhere else for those time windows actually supercharges my investment, because, for instance, you go to the Philippines, you can get a 20th floor penthouse with all the amenities in your building and do anything that you want collectively for a total of about $1,200 a month. If I've got $5,500 a month and I'm not full bore, even if I was full bore expenses here, that would still give me darn near $3,000 of reinvestment. So now not only am I getting to live a better quality of life, I'm getting to travel, I'm getting to experience other cultures, getting to experience some of the healthcare, because like some of these places I want to go, I can get stem cell done. You know what I'm saying? Get my joints, get my Achilles fixed even better. You know what I'm saying? Fortify the body on stuff that they just, for some odd reason, because they don't want people in America to be healthy, aren't allowed here. I'll be able to go get good peptides. Another great thing. And while I'm doing those things, I'll be getting paid for just not existing here and spending all that money here. So for me, that I mean, they keep saying the new American dream is to leave America. I don't necessarily know that I want to leave America, but until we get some of the stuff sorted out, what I would like is multiple times a year being able to get a good, healthy breather from America. Just go somewhere else and just relax, have some good food, breathe some fresh, non-polluted air, exist in some water that's clean. Just have a nice experience. And then be able to come back and, hang out and have my cats and do whatever. So obviously you're factoring in plane tickets and all that fun stuff and all those things. But that's the strategy that I'm building out. And it all started at that core of knowing what your expenses are is really what it boils down to. Like, I had to figure out what my expenses were for the bare minimum, because if I'm going to be gone for 2-3 months, then I'm definitely going to be turning off a lot of stuff, like a lot of the extra frill services and stuff. I'll reactivate it when I get back, but if I'm not going to be using it, I'm going to turn it off. And as long as I'm house hacking, there's going to be somebody existing in my house. Like, I'm not really worried about that. And my room's going to be here. It's just, I have to manage the cats, and that's about it. Like, it's just it'll be what it is. It'll be like, I'm going to be gone for a few weeks. But that's starts the sell, and the core of that is figuring out how much you actually need. And do you need to be a millionaire? Now, one of the things that I'll add as a caveat is I'm not saying that being a millionaire, multimillionaire, decamillionaire, whatever, so that you can be apparently comfortable, which sounds real stupid to me. Like, I don't know. Like, I get it. You can flex on other people. But one of the funny things is, like, none of the millionaires that I know in my business, literally, we only deal with millionaires. So we're only dealing with $1 million and up homes. Like, I'm one of the top. My company is one of the top Crestron residential companies in the region. And none of those guys are being like, yeah, I gotta have a bazillion. You gotta have $1 bazillion because, like, I'm just doing, like, they all just work hard. They're a bunch of dudes that work hard. Nobody's coming out in Gucci robes. And like, it's just a bunch of the stuff that flies online that people are telling you that you're rich. It's like, it's just not real. Like, the span of millionaires, having done all the projects that I am and being very intimately involved with these people, because you're in their house for 9 months. I see their house before it's done. I see their house after it's done, regularly in their house. People who will leave you the keys, let you chill there while they go do whatever they got to do all day, and then come back and check out with you at the end of the day. And the personalities and the way that these people navigate are so, like, there's not just like, oh yeah, I got $1 million, I have a Gucci robe, I have this client. Like, it's literally isolated to the person. The way that they made the money is also different too. Granted, none of them are YouTubers, which is crazy. I mean, I know, because, like, you would think with all the YouTube that we all watch and all these people that we see out here in these YouTube streets that I'd have one YouTuber, and I'd be like, nope, I've never seen one. But they all also, I'm in the Midwest. So maybe they just don't stay here. They go to Hollywood and get weird or something. I don't know. But I ain't seen one. But what I have seen is a bunch of different levels of wealth, a bunch of different levels of millionaires, a bunch of different everything from, like, the person who got it out the mud, came from a trailer park, now a millionaire, family that owns infrastructure in the city, turning down buying sports teams here, mentoring another family that's also big in the city infrastructurally, but not as big as that family. And, like, they're helping the bigger families, helping out the up and coming family. You see it all. Doctors, surgeons, how they navigate, it's a little bit different. But the thing is, all of them are still working. Like, they don't have to, but, like, they still are. And so, like, that's the reason I'm saying, I'm like, it's not a matter of not wanting to work. It's not a matter of not wanting to do stuff, but there's a point. And I think I'm going to reach that point before I'm a millionaire, where I don't physically, at least for me, the way that I'm doing it, I want the ability to not have to do stuff I don't want to do. Period. I don't want to have to work. It's a different feeling when you go in and like, you gotta be in here. The lights are going to get turned off. Something's going to get like that level of angst is the last level of angst that I have. Like, I'm like, you know, it'd be nice to be in a situation where if you don't want to leave your house, like I understand that, like, since I'm a dummy, I don't have any of the pieces of paper. I do have some really good Crestron certifications. I'm really good at that. But being in a position to where like there's not much that I could do making what I'm making right now that I could do remote. So like working from home is not an option for me at this juncture. But you know, if say you wanted to, but you had to take a pay cut and you can't afford it because you live in check to check. Like I'm not living check to check. Like my whole scenario is setting up to get as much income as I could expeditiously to get into the market. So, but like taking a pay cut at this point would be a hindrance. It'd be an annoyance, but like it doesn't cost me that much to maintain my lifestyle. But for those of you who are going into a job that you hate every day because you need the money, and you think, and they keep telling you online that the only way you're gonna ever not have to do that is you gotta quit what you're doing, you gotta go get a whole new career, and you gotta get to the bag. Like, or maybe you figure out another way to generate some more income with the income you're already making. Like you make some adjustments. Because not having to go there could be the equivalent of, hey, now I can go take a lesser paying job that I enjoy. Also, I got this chunk of money over here, so I can go do a $40,000 job that I just really like. And I'm still making six figures because once this portfolio gets to where it needs to be, I'll be making it should be spitting off around $60,000 a year. So you can go get $40,000 job. I keep my job. I keep working for a couple more years and just let the portfolio fill itself up even more. Cool. Now I'm making six figures and I'm investing over 50% of what I make. And you can do this at any level because all of this scales. Like, granted, I rushed some money in. I made some pivots, made some moves. But if I was starting out investing all over again, it would be this portfolio that I'm building right now, the income portfolio, and Bitcoin. And that's what I would do. I do Bitcoin, my cryptocurrencies with a hard focus on Bitcoin over everything else. Second, Ethereum. And third would probably still be Chainlink. But it'd be that and setting up this income portfolio, because the income portfolio, since it's producing every month, that can roll itself up into something over time, and you're throwing money in. Because while I'm using the income right now to help manage debt, currently the debt that it's managing, the portion of it that it's managing, is the chunk of front money that I'm using to chunk it up and get as much money into it as possible every month. So next week, we'll be getting another $600 going in there or so, roundabouts. And with the month's payout, we'll kick that out, pay that loan back, do it again. So every month I'm getting an additional $650. And then that $650 is turning into income, which is helping pay stuff back faster. Like it's a cycle. Like it's cycling through. And as it grows, once we start hitting these numbers, then we get to start making some bigger pivots. Because after a certain point, these snowball up. So that's the reason I'm telling people, like, you should definitely, if you haven't tapped in on the portfolio updates, it's still in this video stream. I do one every month. It's the first Monday of every month. I'm dropping them just to give an update on where we're at with the portfolio. Good, bad, down, up, whatever. Portfolio was down. It was down this month, or going into this month. Like, we hit some nasty dips. We had that bloody Monday, still recovering from that. the market's still reeling from that, which is great for me. It's a buy opportunity, but I'm looking at the portfolio and just everything's in the red. Crypto's in the red. My portfolio's in the red. All my positions are in the red. But you know what? That payday came in on Monday the 9th. We got paid. We got paid a grip. Like we're gonna be a little bit higher on income this month than last month as far as the dividends go. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's like I think we increased it like $50. Like now, if we can keep increasing that, because like we're still investing, we're still reinvesting. I have a position in there specifically that's covering that reinvestment amount. Like there's a position that I have in that portfolio that when that one pays out, it pays out a little bit later than the other ones. When that one pays out, that goes right back into the portfolio. That's the type of momentum I'm looking for. I've got something else going that's not me requiring this paycheck, that's also producing another paycheck. And we're almost to the point to where it's going to be an additional paycheck a month. Like I got a couple of more moves that I can make. And once we get the phase one of this portfolio squared away, like we should be spitting off like now every month I'm getting an additional whole paycheck. So it's something to think about. And I just think we have to start having honest and real conversations for real people, because like it'd be different if everybody was just a millionaire and everybody was just making six figures and everybody was already getting to the bag. But it's like, what happens to the people who are just working? Like you're working, you're going to work, you're trying to figure out what to do with this money. And they're telling you about going and investing $400 a month to get one share of stock that's going to give you 15% once a quarter. Gives you 15 cents once a quarter. Like, what do you do with that? Like, when do you get to stop working? How is that practical for somebody who's like, yo, I hate going into this place? Oh yeah, just like also go to school too and get a new career. Like, what? Like, you can barely, like, inflation's going up. Is your income inflating also? Because like it's not affecting me the same, because I have two well springs that are outpacing inflation at this point. I've got the income portfolio that's going to just be producing money, and whatever, if I'm reinvesting it, reproduces more money the very next month. With the investments I'm putting in, it's producing more money the very next month. These aren't fixed things. Also, there's a performance variable. So some months are better than others. Also true. It fluctuates. But if you know how to manage money, when you're feasting, you save some. You know how to do that. We know how to do that, people. So that's part of the conversation that we have to have. It's not just go get $1 million. There's plenty of people with $1 million that are still out here just having to grind their faces off every day because it's not something that's sustainable. It's not something that's growing. And like, I'm not saying that you can't have long-term investments. I'm just saying there's the way that we're doing a lot of these things is completely backwards. We're now finding out the 401k system doesn't work the way that they said it would. Also, what is the point in the 401k system aside from a tax shelter if you're trying to retire early? Why would you front run and put the bulk of your money in something to just go get your company to match it, but then they're finding out it's so expensive with the fees that they don't talk about? The gurus never talk about the fees. Most of the time, because your gurus are using it as a tax shelter, so it doesn't matter what the fees are. They're just trying not to pay. They're trying to pay less in that income tax up front, which I totally understand, and I get it. It's a tool. It's got a position. But for the everyday man who's trying to retire early, why would you take $1,000 and put it there first so that you can't have it till you're 65 if you're trying to retire early? Mathematically, that doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. Also the same with the 401k. With the Roth IRAs. That also doesn't make sense. To prioritize that first. Like, no, how about we just prioritize getting to an income where we don't have to go to work anymore, right? And then once you do that, your income's doubled, you're in a different tax bracket. Now you can fill those up with your income from work, because your dividend income is taxed less than your W-2 income. That's another conversation that they're not wanting to have. Like, it's just the cycle on this based on intent are crazy, because like all of these things are tools, but the way that we're utilizing them, I think that because like the prescriptions that the gurus give are the safest prescriptions on the planet. It's just like, yeah, do this. And it's just like, okay, so like, why are all these old people, these freaking boomers that did that, why are they having to go back to work then? The majority of them. It doesn't make sense. Like, it just doesn't. But also, if your goal is to prioritizing and focus on, I'm trying to retire before 65, why are we using a product that you don't have access to without severe penalty until 65? Why is it even a part of that conversation for those people? Because like mathematically it's going, hey, well, you're just taking $1,000 off the table up front. Now, if you're already getting taxed to hell, if you're already getting multi 6 figures a year, understandable, max it out. But you know who else is told to max that out? The dude who's making 40 and broke. Dude who's making under 6 figures and apparently struggling and can't do nothing, even though I'm not struggling and I can do stuff. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. Like, I'm going to be able to, within 3 years at this trajectory, I will be able to go, I'm chilling. I can go chill. Now, will I? Probably not, but like, I'm definitely going to not be working as hard as I am now. Doing what I'm doing. I'm not going to be breaking my body about it. Like, no. Like, no, sir. Find me a chair. Find me somewhere comfortable. It just, the conversations and the thought process, it doesn't, because I remember when I started getting my money together and I started really focusing on my finances, and I'm listening to all the gurus talk about, oh yeah, and $1 million, big money, $1 million, 6 figures. I was making probably like 45,000 when I started out on this journey. And I was like, that's literally just sounds impossible. Like, you're just like, these people are just saying stuff. But I knew that I had to do something to get right on the path. And over here in the wolf pack, like, since I'm not on the mountaintop and we're still climbing, I think it's a benefit, because I'm not going to make content that's talking about, oh, $1 million. Like, no, we're going to see how this portfolio grows out. We're going to look at the income that it makes, and we're going to look at how we navigate that income. We're also going to look at focusing on maximizing what we have coming in, which I think I'm pretty good at. Like, we're normally upwards. My target is around 50%. Some months I'm hitting it, passing a little bit. Other months it's tailing off, but I'm usually around 40%. I'm stocking away 40% of what I'm bringing in income total, because like now we have income coming from a few different sources. And it's this is what it really looks like. Like, I understand these people come up with these greatly contrived stories, but the funny thing that the thing that I think is so funny is, like, people document and curate their YouTube journey, but it's not the financial piece of the YouTube journey. We don't ever see somebody go from, yo, I'm making under 6 figures to now I've got 6 figures and my net worth is here. They're not tracking that journey. Like, no one's documenting that journey, I don't think, but me. I mean, obviously, not to discredit my brothers in the high yield dividend space, because a lot of those guys are documenting their portfolios, but also a lot of those dudes seem like they're already like kind of at the end of that road. Like, they're just like, oh yeah, I just like went and found $20,000 to throw over here because I had it sitting around. Like, show it growing, show the moves that we're making. Like, let's talk about it. Like, where's that piece? Nobody documents that piece. It's like, oh yeah, look at all this. Like, you know, like even like Anton Daniels' old stuff. It's like him like going on adventure, which is dope. He had a dope channel, but like he was like, oh, I'm documenting the journey, and it was like, you're pretty much there. like documented the tail end of the journey, like the last 2 steps, and that's when you document it. It was just like, okay, like, cool. Nobody's actually talking about like what's really going on. It's these people talking from the mountaintop, giving their injection, and then whenever they get backed into a corner because they talk to somebody who knows something or is telling them what's actually happening, they're telling you what doesn't work because they didn't do it, because they can't do it. Okay, fair. But those aren't real conversations. You're talking from the mountain down to the person who's actually pushing the boulder up the mountain, telling them about pushing the boulder, and you ain't been pushing the boulder for a long time. Like, after you, like, once I hit 1 million, like, there's going to be some conversations and some stuff that as we're about to crest 250,000, just ain't gonna even make sense. Like, it's just not gonna be practical. Like, because I guess, I don't know. Apparently, you get like a plaque and an award, and like your whole life changes. Like, I don't know. But what I do know is the stuff that I did during that window of time won't be the same. And I say this all the time. The stuff that I was doing during the last crypto bull run is no longer effective now. And that's 4 years ago. It's a 4-year window. You're talking about people who've been rich for decades. Years, talking about what works, talking down the mountain to people who are actually physically here. Like, it's the hubris. It's there. Like, there's some certain principles, sure. Richest man in Babylon, sure. Age-old principle, sure. But when it comes to the tactics, the things that are available, these people are not evergreen, and that's the reason they're building portfolios and wanting to do channels talking about, we're going to get passive income and we're going to get it out the stock market, but they don't want to deal with none of us who are in the high yield dividend space now. They don't want to talk to any of the people who are in crypto. They don't want to talk about the people that are actually getting it, that are making it work, that are making under 6 figures. I'm not saying don't go make 6 figures. What I'm saying is, they don't want to have real conversations with people that are really out here doing real things, that are actually doing what they're saying that they did. Like, once I'm out of the muck, after I get cleaned off and like I got my nice Gucci robe on and some spectacles, once I'm there, I'm not in the muck anymore. The muck might be different. It could be stickier. It could be sinking. It could be more runny. I don't know exactly what that is anymore. I'm now clean. I got my waders off. I got my mud boots off. I'm in comfy clothes. I'm sitting there. I had the steam towel on my face. I'm clean. But I'm going to talk to that guy in the muck and tell him he's stupid while he's doing what he got to do to get out of it. You can't, like, that don't make no sense. It doesn't make any sense. With a sense of authority, like, oh, I know exactly what you're going through. Like, no, you don't. Like, hey, dude's talking about how you got the perfect family and you the prototype. Then, like, okay, so you can speak to exactly nobody in the community then. That doesn't mean that shouldn't be the goal. But what I'm saying is, when it comes to what people are doing and what we're capable of, and what's actually happening with receipts, you're like, once you're not there, you're not there. 4 years ago, those strategies don't work. I don't even talk about it. Like, I've pivoted so hard on the yield farming piece of my crypto portfolio. I really don't even talk about it anymore. Why? Because it's no longer effective. Like, we started this year trying to do what we did 4 years ago. It was okay, just okay. Never picked up. And now my income portfolio, because instead of being locked in, because that's what I did to make it, because I ain't made it yet. It put me in a different level, but I've still got to adapt every cycle. I've still got to continue to be evergreen on how to generate income and how to best navigate my money, because I'm not yet rich. So what do? We started the income portfolio. I started messing around with getting some dividends, because I found one random stock, doing some research while managing my crypto portfolio. And they were like, yo, this paying out pretty good. I was like, cool, I'll start throwing a little bit of money at that. And then next thing I know, I hit $100. I was like, okay, $100, I'm in. Still not as good as what the income was in my crypto portfolio. And then the income started tapering. I started having to do a lot more work for the same amount of income in my crypto portfolio. So then I started leaning a little bit heavier into the traditional finance portfolio. Then I found the high yield dividend space. Then I found the products that the high yield dividend guys were using. Started doing a little bit of research on that. Start throwing a little bit more money at it. Started making good money. Then I had that first month where I was at parity with my crypto portfolio that I'm struggling to keep stuff in because those opportunities in that space weren't there anymore. Like they just weren't. Stuff was getting collapsed on. Like you got a whole lot more risk. I'm like, oh, so like these things aren't collapsing every month completely and just going away? Interesting. Now, the traditional finance portfolio has probably a quarter of what my crypto portfolio has in it. The active portfolio right now blows it out of the water because the risk reward just isn't there. So what am I doing? I'm like, cool, we're consolidating down the crypto portfolio into positions, get a little bit of income. It's going to trickle in and we're going to be fine about it because we're waiting for the bull run so that we can convert over and hopefully get as close as we can to our 32 Ethereum. But the strategy that I used last bull run for my crypto portfolio is no longer effective. I would not tell somebody that goes, hey, I'm looking to generate income. Like, don't go there. Do this. This is what's working now. And it's less risk involved, still volatile, but less risk. Like this stuff ain't packing up and you ain't got to worry about losing no money. Like, I mean, in the sense of like you wake up one day and everything in your portfolio is gone. Like it's just zero. Like there's not those risks. And the reward is good, consistent money. The options plays. I'm not good at options trading. Hedge funds pretty decent at it. They paying. They making it work. So now I've got people working for me doing options plays. It's pretty nice. I don't have to go read the charts. They do it. That's where the mindset has to be, people. We gotta start digging in, dialing in. I just want to start the conversation. Like, let's have it. Like, have me on. I'll come talk on panels about this. I can talk about this all day long, whenever you feel like. This is the type of stuff that I like talking about. I like talking about money. I like building about money because that's where I'm currently at. I'm in a building phase. Like I got stuff I want to do and things I want to be able to do, like doubling my income and having a whole nother employee in my household that I, spend a little bit of time working on managing it because it's not 100% passive. Like I manage the portfolio. I'm active on that. But it's way better than going and breaking my body or having to sit in the car Ubering for hours on end because I don't have to spend hours on end dealing with my portfolio. And it makes more money than what I was making Ubering. So there's that. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you got value out of this, definitely hit the like button. Definitely hit me up down in the comments because I want to have the conversation. Like these are the conversations we need to be having. We got to build each other up. We got to start talking honestly about money. We got to start talking about money in a serious fashion of things that are applicable. Like, what are we doing? How are you getting it? How can you get to the bag? Hit that like, hit that share. If you're new, subscribe. Till next week, people. It's your boy Reckless Radenero, and I'm out. Peace.
Money on my mind. Yeah. Focus, got no time for games. Nah. I don't play it, I'm all about that financial literacy. Investing in my future, building generational wealth. Dollar bills, they be calling my name. But I ain't chasing fame, I'm chasing change. Learn the game, now I'm playing it smart. Putting my money to work, it's an art. I'm stacking paper, building my own empire. No more living check to check, I'm getting higher. Investing in stocks, real estate, and more. Gotta secure the bag, that's what I came for.